Hello everyone, welcome back to Sportsbook Review's coverage of La Liga Primera. We've just had a 2-week international break, so we haven't filmed for a little while, but it's great to get the band back together again for another weekend of action. Ruairidh, you must be pleased with 2 wins out of 2 for Scotland, including that famous comeback win. Oof.
The comeback win was really fun. The Faroe Islands one was one of the most painful 90 minutes I can ever remember. It was dreadful. The only plus was the result, really.
Yeah, no, agreed. Junior, did you see Canada? Did you see that goal that Alphonso Davies scored for Canada? Which was like the road runner.
I did. It's funny. Even though I'm Canadian, I spent so much time in Costa Rica that I kind of pay attention to the Costa Rican national team more than I do Canada. And they are not happy in Costa Rica right now. So, I hope they both make it. But yeah, it's good to see Canada doing well, though.
Bad loss to the United States. But I had an America to win that one low scoring game. So I was quite pleased with that one. Sorry to everyone in Costa Rica, including Esteban. Okay, but we're here to talk about Spanish football, Spanish soccer, La Liga, and we've only got 8 games this weekend. What's going on, Ruairidh? It's a bit of a funny time of season, isn't it? We've got 8 games this weekend, and then it's getting quite congested in the weeks ahead.
Yeah, and 2 of those games on Monday as well. It's essentially because of the South American qualifiers. So with the players coming back so late, I think there's only sort of 24, 48 hours gap between them playing in South America and the games that were scheduled to be played. As Sid Lowe has pointed out on the Spanish Football Podcast, it's a bit strange because these players, although you are missing some of your players, I think it's only Fede Valverde who's missing for Real Madrid, really. And you then have to reschedule that game and everyone else has to play it. And so I think if I was actually Real Madrid, I would have rather played their game against Athletic Club this weekend without Valverde rather than reschedule it. But it is also partly, I think, and as Sid Lowe referenced, La Liga making a point of we want our players and the international teams shouldn't have priority over us kind of thing.
Yeah, it is a bit of a strange round of fixtures without Real Madrid or Atletico playing, but still some great games to look forward to. Hello to Alex. Hello to Odd God BDA. Piss in a Teapot's back. Hello, Piss in a Teapot. Great to have you here. Hello to Ian. Hello to Fixed Match. Hello to Ibra. Hello to Edward. Hello to Michael. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Give us a like if you enjoy what you hear today, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell. Okay, we're going to start with Levante versus Getafe. Let's get those graphics up. Levante aren't having a good season, are they? But neither are Getafe. This is a relegation battle, a relegation 6-pointer, if you will. Ruairidh, can Getafe pick up a first win of the season, or perhaps can Levante pick up a first win of the season?
I mean, as I said to Martin, there was sort of I replied to one of his messages earlier in the week, and there was about a 7-minute gap. I had my predictions written out for the week apart from Getafe Levante, and I backed Getafe to get that first win. I think they will do it, but I had 7 minutes where I sort of had to just look at that on my sort of notes and be like, am I really doing this? Is this something that I'm going to get behind? So I'm going to explain to you why I'm backing them. Quique Sanchez Flores is the new man in. He's a nice stop. He's a nice sort of bridge between Michel, who was trying to really change the style of Getafe, and Jose Bordalas, who we know he's very well renowned for his sort of aggressive and defensive style. I think he makes Getafe sort of a little closer to what they want to be and a little bit more dangerous. I think it's easier for Getafe to adapt to him. Whereas you look at Levante, who've also sacked their manager, and have Javi Pereira, he's quite an unproven manager. He's not really had too many jobs. He spent some time in England with Fulham and Watford, but he's come in. He only arrived on Tuesday, so he's had maybe 1-2 training sessions with Levante. He comes in for a manager who was much beloved, and he comes into a team whose defence is frankly terrible. And so he has to fix that. And fixing defences takes longer than fixing attacks, for my money. And that is why I believe that Getafe are going to get a first win away from home at Levante, because the process of adaptation between the two is just working out better for Getafe in my mind.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what Paco thinks on La Liga Lowdown. He's always quite passionate about Levante. Is he happy about it, or is he not so much, maybe?
I think there's a sort of general acknowledgement that this was maybe time for him to go. Paco Lopez, the previous manager, there was again, I say he's beloved. I think everyone likes Paco Lopez. Everyone likes what he did. He played really good football with a team lower down the table, and it was just unfortunate that I think it got a bit stale and it was time for the change. Whether Javi Pereira is the right man for that change, we'll see. He's a pretty left field option, and he comes from the Chinese league. But yeah, interesting times ahead at Levante, and I think it could be a real tough season there now.
Yeah, it really could. What do you think about this one, Junior? Is there just too much uncertainty around both of these clubs at the moment, or do you think one of them's going to enjoy a new manager bounce?
Yeah, I always think that there's a little bit of value in these bottom of the table clashes, but I just don't see an advantage. I don't know who Levante are. I mean, I know who they are so far. They're a team that can't score, can't defend, can't keep a clean sheet, doesn't do much of anything right. I don't think that's who they are or will end up being at the end of the season ultimately. So fresh blood in terms of a manager might revitalize some of these guys and get them going. I mean, Jose Luis Morales has been pretty good for them. And even saying that, I'm reaching a little bit. Marti's been okay, but they really haven't come together as a squad. So hopefully new blood will get them on the right path. But in terms of an advantage, I'm not as adventurous as my guy here, Ruairidh.
Yeah, I'm with you. I need to see a bit more from both of these teams before I'm going to be putting my money on either of them. Hello to Alex. Hello to Lacavelli in the chat. Barca man, he's here. Going for draw. 2.85. Yeah, sometimes if you can't split them, just go for the draw. Okay, next up we have Real Sociedad versus Mallorca. And I always like betting against Mallorca on the road because they just don't really travel well. They did actually pick up a win this season, but they've lost their other two games. They've conceded 8 in 3 away matches. I'm certainly going to be looking at the home win for Real Sociedad here, despite some of the injury concerns that they have. What do you like in this one, Junior?
Yeah, I really like Sociedad. My problem with Sociedad at the moment is how top heavy they are. Oyarzabal has probably been the best player in the league, or at least he should be in that conversation. But not to say that the rest of his teammates aren't stepping up, because that would be inaccurate. But he's going to need more help than he's received as the season progresses. I know since this is your club, Martin, you know very well that they've got some pretty exciting young players. Lobete seems like he's pretty good. And listen, Isaac, I think once he turns the corner, that will really take them to another level. And although he has no goals, he's really been involved in a lot of their good build-up play. So I'm not as concerned about him. And it might seem strange to some people the way I sound so negative about Sociedad, because they're third, fourth in the table. So it's not like they're not playing well. But if you've watched their last couple of games, their offense has slowed way down from where it was a few weeks ago. But I am taking both teams to score no at -150, because Sociedad's defense has been rock solid, and Mallorca, for my money, do not offer enough going forward to threaten them. While at the back, like you mentioned, they've been pretty leaky. So I've gone with both teams to score no at -150.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, he scored a screamer for Sweden, didn't he, Isak, recently in the break? So hopefully he can bring that form back to his club. What do we know about the injury concerns for Real Sociedad, Ruairidh? It seems like a few players are coming back now. It doesn't seem like it's quite such a damaging situation as it was before the international break.
Yeah, they're starting to get sort of some sort of semblance of a squad back, rather than just sort of 11 players plus a few youth teamers, as was the case just before the break. That Isak is back, I think, is absolutely massive. And even if he's not necessarily scoring goals, because at this stage in his development, he does still have the propensity to miss the odd chance. His running, and I think there's always a thing is if you get a player back that you've been without and you've been coping without, you've been dealing without for a little while, you really notice not only how good they are from sort of a neutral's perspective, but I think how much easier it is to play with them if you're one of the players at Real Sociedad. And so I think Isak's return could really, really help them out here. Mallorca on the road, as you say, I think it's one of your favourite things, Mallorca on the road and Mallorca at home.
Love it.
It's your favourite sort of Spanish football rule almost. And yeah, I have to agree with you here. I'm going Real Sociedad. I think there's going to be at least 2 goals in this game. Whether they're for Real Sociedad or whether there's one for Mallorca in there, I'm not quite sure. But I think, yeah, they're getting players back, and this is a perfect sort of get-right game. This is Mallorca at home. You're getting players back. Let's everyone just have a good time and share in the goals.
Yeah, it does sound like quite a basic approach, just bet on Mallorca at home and fade them on the road. But it worked wonders last time they were in the top flight, and it seems to be going pretty well so far this time around. So I'm going to keep on playing it as long as I can, with a little bit of nuance, not certainly if they're playing a particularly strong team at home, maybe, or if they're going to a really, really poor team on the road. But I just think Sociedad should have far too much quality for them in this game. I've gone for under 3.5 goals as well to get a little bit more value. I'm thinking maybe 2-0 or something like that would be very nice. 2-1, so that both teams to score comes in as well. Okay, next up we have Rayo Vallecano versus Elche. Rayo, kind of the surprise package so far this season, aren't they? Lost before the international break, to be fair, but 4 wins out of 8 is a very good return for a team of their stature, I guess. Do you think they can pick things back up, Ruairidh, or is that 2-week international break going to derail their momentum a bit?
Certainly, I think if you look at the sort of team that they've got here, if they can sort of get ahead in this game and the way that they did against Cadiz, and Cadiz, they can make things difficult for you. But if you do manage to go ahead against them, then they really struggle to sort of pull games back. And so if Rayo can go ahead, then I think they've got a really good chance of winning this game. It's just scoring that goal. And you saw even Real Sociedad, and I think it was the last game before the break when they beat Elche 1-0 at home. As much as they were the better team, it was a struggle, and they did have to sort of wait on a sort of lapse from the Elche defence for Oyarzabal to notch a goal and get them home. So it's by no means a given, and for that reason, I'm kind of staying away from this, because I think 2 teams down the bottom, it's always sort of a battle and a mentality of this is where we get our 3 points. We can go there and we can compete with them on a level basis, and so I'm steering clear of this one just because I think both teams have enough to win this game. Neither team should be a clear favourite, even if I do slightly fancy Rayo. Okay.
It's a pretty good price, I think, on Rayo, considering the form they've been in. Do you like Rayo in this game, Junior?
I do have gone for them at -125 at home. Elche on the road. I mean, Elche anywhere are just simply not creating enough chances for me to be afraid of them. And one thing I like about Rayo, and I'm the original Rayo doubter. I think on the first episode of the show, I said that they were the most likely team to be relegated, and they've proved me very wrong. And so I've tuned into their last couple of matches just to get an idea of what is it that they're doing that I didn't expect. And I think that, again, it's so early in the season to make any definitive statements. But I think that their squad depth has actually been pretty good. They're getting a lot of contribution. Every time they bring someone off the bench, it doesn't seem just like a stopgap. It's more like they actually come in and either maintain the level or even raise the level of play. They've had guys other than, obviously, Falcao is grabbing most of the headlines just because he's come back and almost picked up where he left off the last time we saw him in La Liga at his, what should we call it, advanced age. But they've got other guys that perform. Oscar Trejo has been actually really good for them. So I think that they can do... Well, first of all, let me just say this. I'm fading Elche as much as I'm laying with Rayo, because I do not believe Elche Just they do not create enough opportunities to. I'm not going to say they can't win this game because, again, it's not like Rayo's a powerhouse. I just believe that Rayo, going forward, offer a bit too much for Elche to keep up.
Yeah, they've been a bit meek going forwards, haven't they, in the opening weeks of the season, Elche? I wouldn't be overly confident if I was one of their fans. So they have got five-point gap above the relegation zone as things stand, but the teams below them are making moves, aren't they? So there you go. Junior's gone. He's been replaced by a big S for Skype. Okay. So the next game we have is Celta Vigo versus Sevilla. And that Sevilla game before the international break was just one of the most painful games I've ever seen. Sevilla had 69% of possession, 14 shots on goal, and they just couldn't find a breakthrough, lacking creativity, profligate in front of goal, Diego Carlos sent off at the death. It was just a terrible, terrible day at the office, really, for Sevilla, and it was their first defeat of the season in all competitions. Very disappointing, but they've had 2 weeks to reflect upon that defeat and regroup and plot a course back to winning ways, coming up against the Celta team with a bit of a suspect defence. Junior, do you think Sevilla can get back to winning ways in this one?
Gone for Sevilla plus 125, so yes, I do. You're being very generous by calling Celta's defense suspect. It's awful. It is not good at all. Listen, they're actually very lucky with the to even have the points that they do, because they've not been good at all. And even going forward, they're quite top heavy at the moment. Like, we always knew that it would be the fulcrum of Denis Suarez and Iago Aspas and Santimina, but really it's mostly most of the quality chances are falling to Aspas. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been at his best. And then besides him, nobody's really doing too much. Now, I just don't really have too much belief in this team until I see them put a string of performances together. Whereas Sevilla, for my money, have been by far the best defense in the Premier Liga. And they've come off 2 matches where they're winless. I know one of them was not in La Liga, but they haven't been at their best. And I think the international break is really a chance for these guys. I was looking up and down their squad. They don't really have that many internationals. So they really actually have a good amount of their squad available to get a few extra sessions in. And I think that with the solidity of their defense, combined with what I'm going to be polite here, the less than prolific nature of Celta at the moment, I think this is a get-right spot for Sevilla, especially at this price, because you're not going to see Sevilla at plus 125 too often this season.
No, it's a huge price, Ruairidh. En-Nesyri's out injured. I think Rafa Mir's going to start down the middle. Have they got enough firepower to get the better of Celta in this game?
Absolutely. I've gone with Sevilla as well. And you mentioned the international break, Junior. You also sort of talked about having the ability to reflect on kind of those 2 matches without a win. And I just think, even though sort of we tend to think of the international break as a chance to go in with a win and sort of be feeling comfortable, everyone feels good about themselves, they get a nice reward at the break, I think the opposite will have happened here, in the sense that Julen Lopetegui will have gone away from those 2 games royally peed off and decided, right, okay, we need to really work hard, double down. Not many internationals, as you say, so a chance to really sort of get them on the training pitch. Celta, meanwhile, their entire sort of battle plan of Chachao Caudet is based on stretching the game, and to a certain extent will score more than you will. But if you're not scoring goals, as you say, Aspas isn't being particularly prolific, then you're just kind of leaving yourselves open to concede goals. And the other cog in that machine, who's so crucial, Renato Tapia, I mean, it's perhaps the biggest trope in La Liga. Renato Tapia is the linchpin of Celta. He, already injured, flew out to Peru to sort of be there for the international games, and then was sent home because he was injured. I don't quite understand why that happened, and if somebody from the Peruvian FA or Celta wants to explain that to me, by all means, drop into my DMs. We'll get him to give you a call, Rory. Yeah, Please do. I'd love to get inside the mindset of that decision. But yeah, so if you take out the two key linchpins aren't playing particularly well. Well, Tapia is kind of injured. I don't see where Celta have an advantage over Sevilla here, and it will only be Sevilla's own problems in front of goal that would trip them up. So that's why I'm backing them today, or on Sunday.
Like it. Thanks, Ruairidh. I'm with you. I'm making it a full house, all three of us on Sevilla. So if you have faith in us, go and bet on Sevilla this coming weekend. Piss in a Teapot's got a good tip here. Sevilla averaged 7 corners over their last 3 games. So over 4.5 corners for Sevilla in this game is priced at 2.1. Sounds good. Odd God BDA, I think, is going for under 2 goals in the game at 2.09. Barca Man thinks draw half time. Sevilla to get the win at full time is at 5.3. Wow, that's a big old price there. Just going back a little bit, G Money's going for Rayo to win and both teams to score in that game. Sounds interesting. Keep the picks coming in the chat, please. We love to hear all your picks as we're going. Okay, next up we're going to move on to Villarreal versus Osasuna. Villarreal have finally figured out how to win in La Liga, which is great. They have 2 wins now, 2 wins and 5 draws. Still unbeaten this season. They are the draw kings of La Liga, but they've rediscovered that winning touch. Coming up against an Osasuna team that are actually above them in the table, Ruairidh, surely this has to be a big opportunity for Villarreal to make up a bit of ground and start hunting down those teams above them.
In theory, yes, but this is an Osasuna team that are good away from home. I think they've won all of their games away from home so far. And I actually think this could be the most competitive game. I was going to say most entertaining, but then I remembered it was Villarreal and they draw every single game they played. But this could be the most hard-fought game of the weekend for me because Osasuna are so good away from home. I think they will make Villarreal come onto them, which I think is the last thing that Villarreal want to do. But on the other hand, we have seen them start to pick up a bit of flow. Yeremy Pino is really in great form. He debuted for Spain in the international break. You have Gerard Moreno, who's now again fit. Danjuma, I was about to call him Danju Magic, as his social media keeps telling us. But yes, those 3 are 3 very kind of liquid footballers, and they can really sort of unlock a defence for me. So it could be a really entertaining game. I'm not willing to back either of these sides because neither have shown me quite enough to say that they're comfortably likely to win or lose this game. And so I'm kind of steering clear of it, but I think it could be a really good watch if you fancy it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point about Osasuna having a 100% record on the road. Some Solution says it's a lovely stream. Thank you very much. Alex says Sevilla need to establish themselves once again as a top-tier team. Yeah, they're doing pretty well to still only be 3 points off the top, despite a couple of dodgy results. Definitely a good opportunity for them to pick up a win at a time when Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid aren't playing this weekend. Ian Messina's going for a draw. Lecavelli's banker of the weekend, Villarreal, straight win. And I think you're going with it too, Junior.
I am. For the last couple of shows, I've mentioned that I was very close to pulling the trigger on Villarreal, but I just can't do it because that they don't have that horseshoe. They don't have that rabbit's foot. They don't the luck. Their luck has not been on their side. I don't think they've been as poor as the results suggest. That loss to Manchester United is a perfect example of how their season has been going, where they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, so to speak. I think that last round was by far their best match of the season, which again the bar has been set pretty low. But they did the one thing that I've been complaining about all season, is they created a ton of chances. I do agree with Ruairidh that this game will be a little bit more difficult than some people might think, especially because Osasuna like to play physical. They'll get stuck in the middle of the park. They'll really make things difficult for you, and they're actually very good on the break. So Villarreal definitely have to be careful. I think the thing that put me over the top is something, Martin, that you mentioned at the beginning is this is a chance for Villarreal to start making up ground, and they're facing an Osasuna team that sits ahead of them in the table. They can't win these type of matches. It's this one match is not the be all end all, but it's going to spell to me a rough go in La Liga if they can't beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, given these type of opportunities.
Interesting, yeah. Thanks, Junior. I can see. I'm leaning towards a Villarreal in this one too. Barcaman's got Gerard Moreno to score at any time at plus 104. Moreno coming back, that's surely going to be a big boost for Villarreal because it's been a real miss in recent weeks. Nicholas is wondering, Villarreal under 1.5 goals at even money. Any good? I don't think Junior's going to be going with that because he's quite bullish on Villarreal. Ruairidh, under 1.5 goals for Villarreal. Do you think there's any value there, or is that one to swerve?
I would say that Villarreal for me, Osasuna, sorry, they beat Cadiz 3-2 in the very, very late stages of a match down in Cadiz, and they beat Mallorca 3-2 as well, also in the late stages of a fantastic match. So Osasuna, as much as they might defend deep and hit on the counter, they are still liable to concede a couple. So I would steer clear, but by all means, I've been proven wrong before and will be again.
That's the beauty of this game. Okay, next up we has to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, I would say. Barcelona versus Valencia. Oh, bad. Barcelona's just having just a terrible season. Sitting in 9th place, but just the nature of their performances recently is just so dire. Signed Pedri and giving him a 1 billion release clause, which just seems mad. No one's going to come in and buy Pedri for 1 billion, but I guess that's maybe what they're thinking. Junior, Barcelona versus Valencia. Do you think over the past couple of weeks anything could have happened to make Barcelona a stronger, more together team, or is it going to be more of a circus once again?
Yeah, they're the definition of at least on the basketball show, we like to use the term bet on team. They're the opposite of a bet on team. They're a team that you should stay clear. I wouldn't bet on them with your guys' money. Just put it to you that way. Until they get. First of all, can I say something about this Pedri thing?
Sure.
Is Pedri's agent the same age as Pedri? Like, I get it. You're loyal to Barcelona, but guess what? In professional sports, teams are not loyal to anybody. So a $1 billion release clause, when you come across a manager that doesn't particularly fancy your game, might seem a bit absurd in the years to come, although he obviously looks like he's going to be one of the best players in the world at his position, the way things are going. But anyways, all of these things surrounding the club, to me, mean I have to stay away from them. I don't love that they're also a team that basically plays with a bunch of guys that play the same position and no real 9. It seems to me like a lot of their creative players get in each other's way more so than not. So I know I'm only talking about Barcelona, but I don't know what Barcelona is. And as for Valencia, as much as I do believe in them, I would actually lean Valencia in this match because of something I just mentioned earlier, the international break. Bordalas is getting more time to install his ideas. We knew he was going to make them more solid at the back, but going forward, they don't offer enough for me to get involved in this game. So it's a stay away for me.
Yeah, I was looking at ways of giving Valencia a plus handicap. I was hoping I could get good value on something like Valencia +2 or something, but the value just wasn't there for me. I had to pass it in the end because, yeah, despite Barcelona being a shambles, I still think they've got enough players that could potentially get them a result against Valencia. What do you think about this one, Ruairidh? Have you got a prediction?
No, I actually think it's a really hard game to predict. Like you both, I've stayed well away from this one because although I think you can make more arguments almost for Valencia winning this match or at least drawing it than you can Barcelona winning it. But Barca are getting players back, and you talk about them not having a forward. Aguero should be on the bench for this match, I believe. Dembele might be a little tight, but Ansu Fati is likely to start this game. So you are going to see a little bit more going forward from Barcelona, I think, now. Bordalas will go to give them an absolutely horrible time. I think he's not had a great record against Barcelona as in his time at Getafe, but he's always played them hard. And now he will feel he absolutely has the tools to cause some issues and to really give him a bloody nose. I think it could be a really good game again, same as Villarreal Osasuna, but for those reasons, I think it's harder to place money on. And yeah, you say you don't know what Barcelona are, Junior. I don't either. I don't think Koeman does. So it's a bit of a lottery when you try and predict what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd love to see Bordalas given a bit of money to actually invest in that Valencia team and see what he could do with it. If he could really impose his vision upon it rather than just a squad that he's inherited, I think they could be a formidable team once again.
That's got to be one of the most touchy subjects in La Liga, Valencia and spending money. Now that, especially, I mean, they are as tight can be with that bank book over there.
Exactly. They really need to loosen those purse strings a bit, or maybe he just needs to sell the club because he's in danger of just running it into the ground. Lecaveli's going for both teams to score and double chance on Valencia. That's an interesting one. Abu's saying maybe even just a straight win for Valencia. CR7's back in the house. Hey, CR7. CR7 is naturally going for Barcelona to be relegated. But I don't think Barcelona's going to be agreeing with that. No one's got a lot of confidence in Barcelona, to be honest. Let's put it that way. Okay, we're going to move on to Alaves versus Real Betis. Alaves still languishing near the bottom of the table, just 1 win and 6 defeats so far from 7 games. It's been a pretty horrible season for them. Their 1 win, madly, was against Atletico Madrid, the champions, but they've been pretty poor otherwise. They've only scored 2 goals, worst defensive record in the division. They're coming up against Real Betis, who I've been quite impressed with. Betis are a little bit dodgy at the back, but do Alaves really have the tools to exploit those defensive weaknesses? I'm not sure they do. So I'm very much leaning towards Real Betis in this game. What about you, Ruairidh? What are you going for?
Yeah, I've gone down the same route, and same as Real Sociedad. I think Betis to win, over 1.5 goals here. This is, I think, a Betis team that I've been really impressed with because I didn't think that they had the squad, really, frankly, to cope. And we'll see what happens down the line, but Pellegrini has been playing B-team centre-backs that, frankly, nobody thought was going to be in the first division. And so that's a big plus for them in the sense that they're able to get results despite maybe not necessarily having their full team available. They're getting a few more players back. I really like the competition between Willian José and Borja Iglesias up front. I think those are 2 players that have a lot of talent and have never quite put it together apart from 1 or 2 seasons here, and I think the 2 of them against each other for that starting spot could really spur them on. And Alaves, again, I don't think they've ever been as bad as maybe their results have suggested, and I managed to talk myself out of them getting a result against the Athletic Club last time out, and thank God I did. But yeah, against Athletic Club, I saw why I'd talked myself out of them, because there was no sense of Athletic ever being in trouble, and there's no sense of Alaves causing them problems. And against an Athletic Club side that, okay, they're not necessarily easy to play against, but you know exactly what you're getting. And so if you're unable to try and cause a team problems that's so, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but in a sense that there's one way with Athletic and it's not going to particularly change. I think that's a pretty worrying sign. And you look at the talent in this Betis team and you think, as soon as they go 1-0 up, Alaves are in trouble.
Yeah, no, agree. So we've got both of us going for Real Betis, Junior. Are you going to make it a full house, or?
I didn't get it to you before the show, so it's probably not going to show up in my official picks. But I've already got money on Betis, at plus 115. Listen, it's as simple as Alaves. even in the match against Atletico that they won, they really, not only did they not look like scoring again, there was no hope that they were going to score. Against Atletico, I never for 1 second thought these guys might possibly score a goal, which is obviously a damning, description of a team. This late into the season, they still have no goals from open play. They aren't really particularly good at defending set pieces. They aren't particularly good at defending anything. So with all the options that Betis have going forward, with all the different ways they can score, whether it's from corners, whether it's from direct free kicks, as well as open play, I find it very hard to believe that Betis is not going to nick at least 2 here and come away with a victory. Because if you get one, you pretty much already got Alaves where they don't want to be, which is having to score. So I can only look one way, and that's Betis plus 115, although it's not going to appear as one of my official picks.
Oh, we'll be sure to read it out when we do bring up the picks. Yeah, I just agree that it's just a huge price on Real Betis, given the form they're in. I think there's a bit of a golfing quality between these teams, and they can go there and get the win. Okay, final game of this round of fixtures is Espanyol versus Cadiz. So I really like the look of this game from a betting perspective. Newly promoted Espanyol have made a reasonably good start to the season, 2 wins from 8 games. Cadiz, similar sort of record. I wonder if these 2 teams could cancel each other out. Maybe a little stake on a draw, but I'm passing this one. Have you got anything on this one, Junior?
No, I'm going to admit my bias here. I've had money on games involving Cadiz. They are my least favorite team to watch in the league, probably. So I will be staying far away from this game. Obviously, that's not me speaking as a handicapper. It's just me speaking as a fan of the game. In terms of Espanyol, I can't back Espanyol because their defense is supposed to be solid. Their defense is supposed to be the thing that helps keep them up in the Premier League, and they've not been good defensively. They've not been horrible, but they certainly cannot say they've been tight at the back. Now, going forward, they do offer some threat. So my lean would be Espanyol in this situation, but I just don't see an advantage on either side that has me wanting to invest in this game.
Yeah, I think this is an easy one to pass. Are you passing too, Ruairidh?
Yeah, I mean, I did sort of and ah over Espanyol by 1. I think if I had to predict a word for this game, it would be attrition, because it's going to be a pretty conservative battle in my mind. Cadiz, on the one hand, they are a team that Espanyol don't really want to play against, in the fact that, again, in the same way that Villarreal prefer a bit more of a back and forth game in which they can sit back a little and open up space, Espanyol probably would rather that too. But at the same time, I think Espanyol maybe just have a little bit too much. And if you actually look at their fixtures, apart from against Mallorca, where they were beaten 1-0, and there was sort of an element of rivalry between the two who played off for the championship last season in Segunda, they have kind of gone as expected for the results, and they've beaten Atleti, but they've kind of lost to the teams that you think are better than them, and they've drawn or beaten the teams that you think that they might be better than. So in my mind, Espanyol are kind of narrow favourites, but like you say, that defence just doesn't inspire quite enough confidence. Espanyol, they never really seem to be the protagonist. Like, for me, even against Real Madrid, when they beat them, Espanyol were good, but the game almost felt it was like Real Madrid's deficiencies more than it was Espanyol's really good attacking play, as much as they were good. And I'm not trying to take credit away from them by any means, but yeah, that's the doubt for me. It's why I'm staying clear of them. And yeah, it's going to be a tight game, attritional, as I say. And for me, Espanyol, they need a run of form for me to start investing in them on this kind of thing.
Thanks, Ruairidh. Yeah, I liked the one word you chose was attritional. That's a very good word to have selected from your vocabulary there. A war of attrition is going to take place in Catalonia this weekend, and I'm just really feeling the love in the comments. Thank you so much, guys. A. Mohammed says, quality lineup as always. La Liga becoming one of my favourite SBR shows. Big up Junior, made me a lot of money last year as a newcomer to the NBA. Son. Hassan likes Barlow's Betis and over 1.5 goals. I like that. Barlow's Betis. Alex says, yep, Junior, Ruairidh, Martin, measured, cautious analysis. And Marco Paul says, this show is good. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. That makes me feel very happy on this Friday afternoon, Friday morning, Friday night, wherever you may be. Just quickly, Hassan is asking Ruairidh, do you like Real Sociedad minus 1.5?
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad bet at all, and especially when you consider Isak, that goal he scored for Sweden is phenomenal. Go find it if you can on YouTube. I'm sure it's readily available. But yeah, I think he will really inject some pace into their attack, and Mallorca maybe just can't live with that. So not what I've gone, but I don't think that's a bad bet at all. The only reason I've sort of gone over 1.5 goals is because I wonder if Mallorca might score too.
Yeah. Thanks, Ruairidh. Lecavelli's saying have to be careful with players coming back from international football. Yeah, true. What's my favourite league to bet on? I have to probably say the Premier League because I'm in the thick of it as an Arsenal fan and living in England. But La Liga has always been the other one for me. I've always my two favourite leagues have always been Premier League and La Liga. But I've actually done reasonably well on the Bundesliga so far this season as well. So I'm hoping we can keep that going. Okay, thanks guys. Esteban, please give us the picks. We'll read out what we're going for. I'm going for Real Sociedad under 3.5 goals plus 105. I've gone for Sevilla draw no bet at minus 160, but I'm actually happy just to push that to a straight Sevilla win at plus 125 for much better value. So I'll change that to plus 125. And I've got Real Betis as well at plus 125. I'll just have to say I've got the odds there for you, Ruairidh. I didn't put the two odds for the over 1.5 goals. So you're going for Betis and over 1.5 goals, and that's at odds of plus 188, which is a very good price. And you've gone for Sociedad and over 1.5 goals, and I've got you minus 130 on that. So a couple of good prices there. What are the other two that you're going for?
Yeah, Sevilla straight to win plus 125. I think they are one of the safer bets this weekend. And a word of caution about my Getafe pick. I'm still I've talked myself into it and I've given myself reasons as to why I believe it will happen. But there's a nugget of doubt in me about Getafe because they have been pretty dreadful so far. So Getafe at plus 225, just straight to win if you are feeling lucky.
I like this idea of you just taking a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror, wondering if you can be the sort of man that bets on Getafe. I like it. Okay, Junior, what have you got for us this weekend?
Yeah, I've got Sevilla at plus 120, Rayo at minus 125, Villarreal at minus 150, and Sociedad Mallorca, both teams to score no at minus 150.
Okay, thanks very much.
Can I mention something though? This Valencia at plus 550 has got my fingers itching. I'm like, plus 550. Jesus, that looks so enticing.
If you go for it and they win, you'll look like a genius. So
it's I heard Carlos Soler is back, which is making me really want to pull the trigger here. But that would be my. What is it? Madness, or what is that called? A
madness, a tan madness. But you'll be doing
exactly.
You're doing a genius. You have to shake the screen and shake about as if things can.
I'm expecting a tweet from Junior just before the match kicks off. Pull the trigger on Valencia.
Especially if the odds drift out even further. Why not? Small stake, go for it. Thank you, Lecavelli said. Great job, love the stream. Thank you very much. Couple of guys are asking for a parlay. Ian always loves a parlay. Piss in a teapot's loving a parlay. So Junior, what's your favorite out of your picks?
I would have to be Sevilla. I really think that they would have gone into the international break disappointed in the way they played. Like I said, it's only one La Liga loss, but they didn't really. They were pretty lucky to get a result, or not to get a result, but They didn't really look so good in their Champions League fixture either. So I would think that, as Ruairidh rightfully mentioned, their manager would have gotten to that break with a bad taste in his mouth. And that's what actually made me look to see how many of these guys are gone away to internationals. And if they're not, I promise you they were on the training pitch trying to get right. And their deficiencies are easier to fix than some other teams. Their back line is solid. It's just sometimes going forward they're a little bit disappointing, but I think that they'll go through in the spot.
No, I like that. Thanks, Junior. So, Ruairidh, you've got to put one team forward to go along with Sevilla, and I'm going to have to veto Getafe. So, Betis or Real Sociedad, who are you going to put forward to go with Sevilla in a parlay?
You beat me to the punch there. I was Getafe on the tip of my tongue. If I had to go with a parlay, I'd probably go with Real Sociedad. I know the odds maybe aren't the best on that one, but I just think that's, for me, one of the safer bets out there this weekend. And I think Real Sociedad are one of the most reliable teams in the sense that you know exactly what you're getting and how it's going to happen.
There you go, guys. There's your two-team parlay, Sevilla and Real Sociedad. Get good odds on that. Thanks very much for watching. Thank you to Ruairidh. Thank you to Junior for joining us today. Hope you all have a great weekend. We'll see you back next week for lots more football action. Take care, guys.